tool you may have in your toolbox, and you don't want to get rid of it, even when you're in control.
Certainly, and I think that enough senators quickly came out and poured cold water on this, because once you do away with that, it would drastically change how the Senate works. And you might see huge swings in policy depending on who's in power. This leads more senators to come to the table and be able to negotiate. I actually think that President Trump's tweet on this or post on this put Republicans on their back foot rather than doing the blame game. They had to be kind of caught in this weird crosshairs of saying, we don't want to get rid of the filibuster, instead of redirecting, as they've been messaging, their blame against Democrats and saying time to reopen the government.
My sources at White House see this as Donald Trump being sort of the bad cop. I mean, he has had nuclear on his mind a lot this week, from nuclear testing to getting rid of the nuclear option in the filibuster. But I think that if you look back at the first administration, Trump toyed with getting rid of this parliamentary procedure. My sources at White House say they know that Democrats know that, and Donald Trump is putting a shot across the bow, even if it does mean some of these uncomfortable conversations with Republicans, because, as you mentioned, Leader Thune really doesn't want to get rid of the filibuster. They remember what life is like in the minority, but Trump right now is really eager to get the government open once again, even if it means trampling on parliamentary niceties. All
right, I'm going to try to do true lightning round from here on out, because we had a couple more topics we want to get to. These recent strikes in the boats off the coast of Venezuela and the Eastern Pacific. Here's the president talking about questions about whether we're ready to strike inland in Venezuela.
There are reports that you are considering strikes within Venezuela. Is that true?
No.
You made a decision on that?
No, it's not true.
Okay, Olivia says not true.
I mean, we'll see. I think that he's like someone who wants to have more, unpredictability and use that to his whims. And we've seen him escalating their presence in the Caribbean and with Venezuela. So I think time will tell.
Well, and at the same time, Washington Post reports that Venezuela is pleading with Moscow and Beijing for help amid a buildup of American forces in the Caribbean. Venezuela's President Nicolas Maduro is reaching out to Russia, China, and Iran to enhance its warm military capabilities and solicit assistance, requesting defensive radars, aircraft repairs, and potentially missiles. Philip.
I think that you don't send a aircraft carrier and a dozen gunboats down to the Caribbean unless you're serious, and Donald Trump has demonstrated that he's very serious in this regard, even if that means sidestepping Congress entirely. He has ignored some of the Republican criticism about how he needs a declaration of war, even as his own cabinet talks about these strikes as if, it is an open war. I asked him about this the other week, and he said he wasn't going to go to Congress for this because the narco terrorists, in his words, they will be dead. That's what the president said.
Well, and listen, something else that is probably going to be dead is this bipartisan thing coming through the Senate, which is going to try to force his hand on Venezuela. I mean, obviously, that's not something that the president is going to get on board with, nor are Republican leaders, but there is some bipartisan buy-in on that.
There is, but ultimately, I think it goes to Olivia's point that time will tell. So often with Donald Trump, it starts out, that's not true. It becomes somewhat true. A week later, 2 weeks later, it becomes true. This is a huge escalation potentially.
Okay, really quickly want to hit on this FBI plot they say they uncovered for Halloween weekend in Michigan. Kash Patel, the director, says this: the FBI stopped this potential terrorist attack in Michigan before it could unfold, thanks to swift action and coordination with our partners. A violent plot tied to international terrorism was disrupted. This is what defending the homeland looks like. Vigilance saves lives. Doug, there's reporting that it is ISIS connected. We're trying to run that down.
Yeah, this is why I think it was a curious statement. We don't know. There's still a lot of questions out there. I'm surprised to see an administration put something out like this. I was a press secretary, young press secretary, on 9/11 on Capitol Hill. Got a lot of phone calls from newspapers in my district. If I didn't know something for sure, I didn't say it.
All right, Philip, final word. We got 10 seconds.
I think that this is the FBI trying to return to the mission that they wanted. You saw the NBA betting scandal that they dealt with earlier. Now they're going after terrorists. It's blocking and tackling for law enforcement. This is what Kash Patel wants to present.
Well, and it's a Halloween weekend. They say disrupted. It could have been a much different situation there in Michigan. Thank you to all of our men and women who work around the clock.
A story in 5 words. Kamala shocks Stewart with lies. Madison, this week Kamala Harris told Jon Stewart Biden was fully competent to serve another term. Watch how he responds.
I believe he was fully competent to serve.
Do you really?
Yeah, I do.
That surprises me, actually.
No, I do. There's a distinction to be made between running for president and being president.
What's the distinction?
Well, being a candidate for president of the United States is about being in a marathon at a sprinter's pace, having tomatoes thrown at you every step you take.
That sounds lovely.
Yeah, it's more than a notion. And to be the seated president, the sitting president, while doing that, it's a lot. It's a lot.
Kat, you're about to explode.
Yeah, sure. Maybe it's a lot, but like almost all of them have done it just fine.
Yeah.
That would have been a good place for an "Are you kidding me?"
Yeah.
That would have been like, why is she still doing this? Why is she still doing this? Like, for her, I don't believe it. I don't believe that she actually believes that he was okay. I don't believe she's that stupid, and that's not like a huge compliment to her. It's just that I don't think anyone is that stupid.
Yeah.
It's you just watch any clip of the guy.
Yeah.
Just look at it. And you were hanging out with him when the cameras weren't on. I cannot imagine what that was like.
Yes. Especially when he kept asking her, for more, more drugs because he thought she was a nurse.
But why? Like, why is she still doing it?
This is a good question. Madison, why do you think she's still doing it?
I mean, I think if you've drank the Kool-Aid so much, you have to keep believing the narrative. And it's almost like she's drank it so much that she's forgotten that she's written this book where she's come out and said he totally screwed my odds of winning for president. And the distinction that she makes, Jon Stewart gave her a chance. He was like, really? Do you want? You said that he's fine. And she doubles down. And then her clarification is, well, he was fit to run, but not to lead. And then she describes that running is more difficult because he was both president and running. So it doesn't make sense at all. And I think it's got to be that on the left, Democrats are struggling. They don't have a leader. So the last leader they had was Biden. So maybe she is just holding on to that to say, I can't do bad by my old boss despite where he let me and in my book. It's a difficult balance, and I don't think she's striking it.
Jon Stewart should have been like, let's call him up right now, see how he's doing.
Yes. By the way,
that's not an option.
I don't know why she's being so nice to him. She did call him a racist in a debate. I mean, now she's all of a sudden showing him respect. Joey, isn't Jon Stewart a couple of years too late on this incredulousness, on this surprise?
Yeah,
we were all.
They all are. It's like, oh, it's safe to come out now. Yes, that's what it is. They're all. We were talking about this before the show started. You either get on board or you're gone. Like, there's no credibility left. There's no demographic there. Jon Stewart can't be funny enough, and he is witty and he is funny. He can't be funny enough to overcome that fact. And the same thing for Bill Maher and the rest of them. I mean, Stephen A. Smith, we have to cover him way more than I would like to because he gets on and says these salacious things that are salacious to people towing the Democrat line. But, they're saying things that get them likes and views, not things that are better for the country. It just happens to be it's better for the country that we acknowledge that Joe Biden was a walking corpse. I mean, she says, basically what she said was, he would be okay if he just got to stay president, but running for president, that was too much for him.
Yeah.
And it's like, politicians are, to the very least, they're good. They may not be good decision makers, but to the very least, they're good. And what she's saying is he lost that ability, too.
Yeah. Kevin, you have to admit, Joe Biden would have been a great president for Halloween.
I would like to know who Kamala's book publisher is, because they're very pissed off after that.
Yeah.
She's not pumping her book anymore. Everything she says is completely inconsistent with those chapters.
Yeah.
I don't get it.
Yeah. Now, do you buy that maybe she's being respectful to her boss? Like she doesn't want.
No, I think all bets are off now. Neither of them are ever going to be president ever again.
Yeah.
Or vice president, for that matter. And I think what you want to worry about at this point in your life is legacy. You're painting your legacy by these interviews. They stay in the ethosphere forever. I mean, it's going to be up on the cloud, this interview, when historians look at it, if they ever go back and look at it and say, what did she say afterwards? She's been really inconsistent. I think the thing to focus on is, wow, did we get our asses kicked? Why?
Yeah.
That would have been good. That would have been good to explain to the next generation of what not to do in an election.
Yeah.
Useful information.
Yeah, it just made me think what would have been like if there were podcasts in the internet back in the Lincoln era or Washington and see them on. Well, Lincoln wouldn't have worked out, but other presidents.